Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube. It's your girl Honey. Today we are talking about having Venus in Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn, like a lot of people don't like this in the astrologers community. You know, me being a Capricorn stellium myself, Moon Capricorn, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, pretty much all in my 8th house. You know, I do understand the Capricorn energy to a degree. Okay, but you know, there's a massive taboo around Capricorn Venus being very cold-hearted and, you know, not able to love properly. So I want to just talk heavily about that and expose Venus in Capricorn for exactly what it is. So please stay tuned. I'm going to also touch base on Uranus and Neptune conjunct your Venus and how that definitely makes a massive change, because the generation, because Neptune takes a whole 13-14 years for it to go through a sign. That's a whole generation of people that would have their Neptune or their Neptune around or nearby their Venus, you know. So I want to touch base on that also. So please just bear that in mind. So anyway, what can I tell you about Venus in Capricorn? Venus is the planet of love, of romance. It's what you should really be dating, what you're probably attracted to as well. Put your Mars in the mix there as well. Venus is the ruler of Taurus. The co-ruler is Libra. Capricorn's element is Earth. It is a cardinal sign. Capricorn is home to the 10th house. 10th house represents structure, routine, work, mundane jobs, you know, status. And Capricorn's ruler is Saturn. Saturn is very slow moving, you know, it's all about routine, structure, and it just slows down everything when Saturn comes in. And it's a planet that represents lessons. You know, when you do have strong Saturn aspects, you do have to be someone who would have to learn the hard way. That's what Saturn does. When you have like squares and shit, that just makes it a lot harder to deal with. Conjunctions, depending on what is conjuncting, it's not always that bad, but it does definitely create issues if it's, you know, in squares, if it's in squared opposition. So, Venus in Capricorn. What's crazy is right now, I'm dating someone who has his Venus in Capricorn, and it's not going very well, in my opinion anyway, not in his but in mine. And really nice guy. I'm more attracted to his Pisces energy. He's got Mercury in Pisces, you know, and it's quite strong. I quite like that about him. He's an Aquarius sun, so anyway, right? So anyway, he's got Venus in Capricorn, these people. And I also want to touch base on the Neptune in Capricorn generation, Uranus in Capricorn generation. Neptune takes 13-14 years to transit per sign. Uranus takes 7 years to go through per sign. So I want to just talk about how these can definitely affect your Venus. So anyway, having a Venus in Capricorn, honey, what kind of person would you be? Now, I call these people the sophisticated lovers. And I call them sophisticated because a lot of the time, these people tend to date up, or they should be dating up. And the reason why I say this is because you guys have a Venus in Capricorn. Capricorn has this connection with the elderly, okay? Natural connection. And I don't mean like dating old, like deathbed old. I mean like dating a lot older. Now, what I've also noticed is Venus in Capricorn always, when they're young, they date someone who is literally the opposite and not compatible to them whatsoever, and they are stuck on this X. You know, should I stay or should I go for years? You know, you guys are not always sure what the fuck you want to do, right? But as you get older, you start to mature, and you start to date more based on your Venus placement. You start to date more men or women that are in, you know, financial success position, successful positions at work, someone who's very popular or very well known by others. You know, you start to really embrace your Venus placement. Now, you guys are attracted to people who are sophisticated, who are classy. You know, you tend to have a very conservative way of loving in your relationships, and you are very, very traditional lovers. You know, you guys are notorious for being in, you know, relationships, especially the men. You know, Venus in Capricorn men, they like their women to you know, to work, but of course to carry out the womanly duties, which some people might say, you know, is keeping a house clean, keeping the kids looked after, well fed. You know, your husband goes to work and you stay at home and you do this and you do that. Whereas as Venus and Capricorn women, you guys tend to get up and go to work straight away. You know, if you've just had a baby, that baby could have dropped out of your vagina at 2 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, honey, you were back at work, okay? It's literally like that. You guys enjoy working. You guys enjoy money. You know, you guys enjoy lessons, life lessons as well, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is all about lessons, and you guys go through hardship. I like to come out of the hardship into the other side and talk about, you know, how hard this was, but I came out and I survived. Venus in Capricorn, you guys like people who have a sense of direction. You know, for example, the guy that I'm dating, you know, I've not spoken to him about my direction because I'm not really sure how I feel about him anyway. But, you know, if I said to him, "Rah, you know, I make this amount of money, you know, I drive this type of car, and, you know, I'm going on 10 holidays next year," I'm pretty sure he would want to cling on to me a little more than how my life is now, because how my life is now, I don't tell him everything. I'm very 8th house. I keep my shit, you know, quite to myself. And 12th house as well. Shit, I'm very 8th and 12th house. But anyway, you know, I don't want him to cling on to me because of my lifestyle. I want him to know me for who I am. I find Venus and Capricorn people are very much into, have a very business kind of way of showing that they love someone. You know, it kind of varies, because when your Venus is in Capricorn, I completely forgot to mention this, but your Venus is in Capricorn, you're either a Capricorn sun, Sag sun, Scorpio sun, Aquarius sun, or a Pisces sun. So if your Venus is, if you're a Pisces sun, for example, and your Venus is in Capricorn, it gives you like a hot and cold type of effect, you know, like Venus, your Venus is how you love. So if your Venus is in Capricorn and you're quite chilly, you know, it's going to be really weird being a Pisces, because Pisces is quite warm in a sense where, hey, like, I want to love everybody, you know. And then you've got, you know, then you've got Scorpio sun, which is, it's just a very strange combo. I thought actually Venus in Capricorn people like to date someone who not only is about the status and their position, but they like to date people who look and dress like they are in, you know, a nice position. So they are very much into people who are all about working really, really hard. So speaking of image, they're very image conscious, right? Someone that I know has their Venus, she's got a lot of Capricorn planets, right? But someone that I know has their Capricorn in Venus, and she's also an Aquarius. But anyway, she was dating a Leo. Don't know his placements, but you know, he was a strong ass Leo, okay? I'm gonna assume there's a lot of negative aspects in his chart because he wasn't, it was awful. Anyway, he was a Leo, and they went out clubbing with their friends, and he overindulged. He drank a whole lot, and he got really drunk, and he ended up outside on the floor fighting with people. You know, there was police everywhere. He got tasered, and you know, it was just, it was a massive scene. Imagine everyone's outside watching what the fuck's going on, and she's standing there like, what the fuck is this? And she called me the next day to tell me what had happened, and she was like, honey, I was so embarrassed. I was just like, this is embarrassing. And me and my Venus and Pisces self was sitting there like, oh my God, you should be there cradling him right now, you know, stroking his neck, making him feel good, but you are here on the phone telling me how embarrassed you are. This is very Venus in Capricorn. Like, you guys are not here for embarrassing moments like that. You know, you guys want to make sure your image is always in being seen in a positive light. Now, because your ruler is Saturn, I'm sure I mentioned before about, you know, always dating people who are not quite compatible with you when you're young. You guys tend to find love when you are much older. And it's because Saturn's very slow. So it gives you life lessons in between. But it can also, especially if your Venus is in the 10th house, you know, you could easily fall in love with your job. Your job can be your hubby, your wifey, your this and your that, because 10th house represents work. And your Venus being in there will give you really good positions at work. You know, it can make you come to work and really love work. It can make you find love at work as well. Find love in, you know, your manager, your CEO, you know, things like that, which is really, really interesting. I always seem to have affairs at work. My Scorpio is in my 6th house. My Pluto's in my 6th house. Don't judge me, okay? And I'm sure I said this before about, you know, you guys being attracted to much older, because Capricorn has a connection with the elderly naturally. And, you know, not saying you guys date elderly people, you know, on their deathbed, but you guys do have this attraction to much older people. So, you know, when you're dating, a lot of the times, Venus and Capricorn can date for shmoney, okay? You know, this is a notorious placement for someone who would date somebody else just because, you know, they are in a financial comfortable situation. They can be seen as gold diggers, but they are all about stability. They want to feel stable. They want to have that structure. So if they want to date someone because they've got some money coming in, you know, they're thinking about how they want to be completely comfortable. That's what's on their mind. This is why Venus in Capricorn can be seen as being a business way of showing love, because these people can be very stiff as well in their when they first start dating. You know, when you're dating someone, you're not the most flirtatious type of person. You know, you won't really express, oh, I like you. It's, oh my God, listen, when it comes to you females, right, if a guy approaches you, he's got to come to you correct. He's got to approach you in a very classy kind of way. He's got to come to you and say, hi, you know, my name is so-and-so, you know, how are you? And you're like, oh, you know, my name is Listen, the other day, last week, I went out, right, with my friend and her boyfriend, went out to a bar. And her boyfriend was introducing me to his friends. And one of the friends came up to me. I said, hi, you know, put my hand out, because you're supposed to, you know, give me a little shake on the hand like this. My man grabbed my hand like this, shook my hand like this, and was like, you're thick, you know. Like, he completely space invaded me. You know, my Capricorn moon ass was not here for that space invasion, you know, and he actually said, rah, you're thick. Not even like, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. I was like, okay, nice to meet you. What the fuck? Who says things like that? And this is very Venus and Capricorn. Like, you cannot go and approach a Venus and Capricorn person in a very over-sexualized, you know, kind of way. You have to be smooth and you have to be classy when it comes to approaching a Venus in Capricorn, because they are smooth and they are classy. Now, Venus in Capricorn has trust issues anyway, and they don't tend to express their love, you know, like a Venus and Leo, Venus and Pisces person. You know, they tend to keep how they feel to themselves. And this is what makes them, you know, makes it very difficult for them to prosper very quickly in their relationships, because they don't tend to express you know, very, very well. Now, if you're a Scorpio sun, sometimes Scorpios are very relationship orientated people anyway. So they end up in relationships more because they have the Scorpio energy. When you are like a Sag sun, Sag people tend to, you know, express, nah, you know, I don't care. I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm fine. I'm this, I'm that. But really, you're not, okay? But you like to pretend that you are, because you guys like to show the world that you are detached from your emotions or whatever. But when you have Venus in Capricorn, it's just taking a long time to happen for you. So yeah, the trust issues with you guys, you know, it's just very hard to express unless you feel like you are in a completely safe place, you know. Now, you guys also do this thing where you test people to see if they are suitable, you know, to date someone as suave and classy as yourself, right? So, you know, you might be chatting to this guy and you'll ask him, oh, have you been to any restaurants in London recently? And he'll be like, well, yeah, I've been Five Guys. And you'll be like, Five Guys? The burger place? The messy burger place with the sauce full down your lip like this? You know, like, you guys are just not here for people who... So, you guys will test and ask questions like that to see how sophisticated, you know, someone's palate is. But the good thing is, you know, you guys will definitely make suggestions where to go, date wise, and like to show people, you know, find a way of living. I remember I dated a Capricorn. This was a few years ago, and for my birthday I chose to go to a really nice place, and I took him there. He paid, but I showed him where it was, and he was impressed. And I was thinking, okay, you know, is it that serious, you know? And he was really impressed, and it made him like me more because I took him somewhere that wasn't like a little shack, you know, in the hood somewhere. Like, I don't know what he was expecting, but Capricorns really appreciate when you wine and dine them or take them to really nice places to explore different tastes and palates. They appreciate that. Now, I forgot to mention, this is crazy important when it comes to Neptune, when it's conjunct your Venus, what kind of person would you be? Now, the thing is with Neptune, when Neptune is on your Venus, it makes you, and I have Neptune conjunct my Venus right now in Pisces, which is so unfortunate. I can't stand the placement, but it's definitely pushing me to do different things. So someone with Venus conjunct their Neptune, this person would be very, very creative. This person would be ideal for, depends actually on where your Venus is in the chart as well. If it's in the 12th house, maybe not so much, because 12th house is suppressed energy, but then again it's in Capricorn. Anyway, I'll get to that in a whole nother video about Venus, the houses, right? But when your Neptune is conjunct your Venus, the kind of person that you are, as I've expressed, it makes you a lot more soft, you know. Capricorn Venus is expressed to be very cold, but Neptune softens down your Venus, and it makes you someone who would attract a lot of deceitful people, a lot of liars, a lot of people that don't have your best interests at heart. But the good thing is it makes you more of a creative person, and it would be it could make you musical, it could make you someone who might like to write, it could make you someone who might like to sketch and draw, like who knows, it makes you a lot more creative, and you're the kind of person who would need to dive more into creativity than you would you know, diving into relationships with multiple people, because you're going to attract a lot of people that would deceive, that would lie to you, betray you a lot. It just makes you, it's like it puts on these goggles that you're not able to see with your own eyes that someone is not good for you, you know. And that's what Neptune conjunct your Venus can do, so bear that in mind. Now, when you have your Uranus, honey, conjunct your Venus, this is a whole nother ball game, okay? when your Neptune is conjunct your Venus and your Venus is in Capricorn, it can make this kind of person a sex addict. It can make this kind of person have a very unconventional way of relationships and of loving people, depending also on what house it's in as well. But Uranus is notorious for being a sign that is, you know, Uranus conjunct your Venus is notorious for being that kind of energy that sex at a very young age, lost their virginity very young, has multiple partners, and probably wouldn't even be someone who would want to be in a relationship. And even if they are in a relationship, they would be cheating on their partner a whole lot, like just forever cheating, just never quite, you know, satisfied. You've got to just keep on going out and doing different things. But, you know, these people like the unconventional way of relationships. So yes, that is my video on Venus in Capricorn. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one, people. Take care.